Alright, hey guys, so I'm back with my review of Batman The Long Halloween Part 2. So I've already reviewed the first part and I rated it a 6 out of 10. And I believe after watching the second part overall as sort of a two-part film, my rating has not changed. In fact, I think the second part is not as good as the first one. And there are a few reasons for that. The first one is the fact that Batman is sort of a side character in this film. This film is more so a story about the Maroni and Falcone crime families who are operating in Gotham, and there's a lot of fantastic side characters. The side characters are really good, but this is not really a Batman film because Batman is sort of the least interesting character in this film. And also, he does a lot of things that's unlike Batman. He gets knocked out by his villains, really in really like simple situations. He's not surrounded or caught off guard or anything in like in a really difficult area. He's just standing there facing one guy while another guy comes and knocks him in the back of the head, and then he easily gets jabbed by Scarecrow. Like he wears a face mask to cover from Scarecrow's fear gas, but he just gets jabbed by a needle, but from Scarecrow, and his suit doesn't seem to be able to resist a needle going through. And I think having operated so many years in Gotham, you'd at least expect Batman to be having some kind of body armor, but he's just running around in what we believe is a tight suit, and that makes him no different from Catwoman, who is pretty much the best part of this film. The drawing of Catwoman is done so well to emphasize her beauty that she's just so distractingly hot in this animation. She's so hot, and that's probably the best part of this entire story, quite frankly. And the tale between the two crime families, between Sal Maroni and then the Falcone. There's a few Falcones, mainly the father of Sofia, the main Falcone, the crime boss, and then there's Sofia Falcone, who's his daughter, and all of them have their own family stories going on, and it's nice to see an in-depth breakdown of these separate characters. And we get it. You want us to feel emotional for these crime lords that they have their own family story going on, despite all the evil that they've been doing. That deep down they may just be the same as you and me. And fine, I get it that you're giving them the backstory and the weight of the backstory, but this is a Batman film, and we want to see more of Batman doing Batman things. But we see him doing a lot of silly things, and then there's also sort of inconsistencies with the capabilities of the villains in this film. So the story starts off really dark and twisted in the sense where Bruce Wayne is under the control of Poison Ivy, and apparently she's been keeping him under her charm for months and using him to transfer Wayne's assets to Carmine Falcone. And over like after some time, after months apparently, Catwoman finally goes to Wayne Manor and rescues the Batman, and Catwoman one on one with Poison Ivy. Catwoman wins. All right. I really have no idea how a girl in tights can actually defeat basically like I don't know Gaia herself, because Poison Ivy is really powerful. She, of course, we understand that her powers can be a little bit slow, and the especially her charm abilities will not work on Catwoman, so she just has to attack her. Her charm abilities apparently only work on men or something like that. At least that's what this story was showing. But however, in a one-on-one fight, I'd expect more of a brutal fight. But Catwoman comes out of the fight completely unscratched, defeats Poison Ivy, saves Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne continues to just go back, wear his cape, and go out at night to be the Batman apparently, because everything is fine. And it's surprising that Poison Ivy, having spent a month or two, controlling Bruce Wayne, apparently didn't get enough time to find out that he is Batman. And I'm not sure how that works because she can go inside his mind and all that, but I think she can't really read minds. She can only make him see things that he wants to. So that's probably makes sense. But anyway, so Poison Ivy was apparently sent by Falcone to what do you call this to get Bruce Wayne's assets because he needs support to overthrow the other crime boss. And okay, all that is a great start. I felt the start was great. It was, despite the fight, I have no idea how the power levels work in this story, but despite the fight, it turned out pretty well. But Batman goes after Scarecrow, gets beaten up by Scarecrow, and we get a really cool backstory of how he lost his parents, and Catwoman and saves him, and therefore he and Catwoman form a deeper relationship. At this point, he doesn't know who Selina Kyle is, and doesn't know the identity of Catwoman. But later on, she eventually reveals herself to him, and that's how they sort of fall in love and all of that. But on top of all those things that have happened, um, what do you call this? The real story that's going on is basically between Falcone, Maroni, and Dent. It's these three people that are really the stars of this story. And I think even without Batman, the story would have been fine because that's how it felt. Like Batman was really a side character in this story. He didn't influence the outcome of anything really. Like everything still, like everyone is supposed to die still died. Everyone was supposed to get shot still got shot. Batman did nothing to change the outcome, the inevitable outcome as it turns out to be. And also these villains that you see in front of here, um, basically Solomon Grundy, the Joker, and the Penguin. They of course they team up with Harvey Dent, who helps them escape from prison and whatever from Arkham Asylum, almost without showing any fight being put up against them. They just escape from Arkham Asylum. But on top of that, they don't really do much in a fight. Like there's a one final epic fight with the Batman and the Catwoman, the two of them versus all of these villains, and the Joker just gets beaten up by Catwoman, beaten up by Batman, and the main fight, of course, is between Grundy and of course the Scarecrow. And the Batman conveniently avoids Scarecrow's tear, his fear gas. Which, okay, fine, you can avoid the fear gas, but then he pops the fear gas glove that Scarecrow uses, and he shoves it into Grundy's mouth, and it triggers, and it bursts throughout the entire room. But apparently, Grundy passes out, and no one else is affected by the fear gas, and no one knows how or why. And then after he's defeated all the other villains, suddenly Joker learns how to fight, pulls out a knife, and starts fighting the Batman, and still gets beaten up anyway. And then Poison Ivy catches Catwoman one more time, and then catches Batman one more time, and then Batman basically hitbutts her, and that's how she gets defeated. Like the reason Poison Ivy lost in the last fight, or rather the reason Batman and Catwoman won, is because Poison Ivy was stupid enough to go close up to the Batman so that he can hitbutt her. And that's literally how the final fight ends. And despite all of these fights, right? Dent still manages to kill, the final crime boss. He kills, what do you call this? Where is he? Where is he? Where is Falcone? I don't see the actor of Falcone. I see Maroni. For some reason, Falcone, which is why I was looking up here, like why Falcone was not listed there. But anyway, you're right, it's Alberto Falcone, right? So there's a few different, there's also a backstory between how, what do you call this, how Carmine Falcone has an affiliation with, what do you call this, the past and history of how Thomas Wayne gets to know the two crime families, right? And there's also like a shooting that happens between between Maroni and Falcone, and then apparently Thomas Wayne was the one that was available to help. So there is some kind of indication that um, Thomas Wayne may have somewhat teamed up with in the past with these crime lords to set up an empire that is now run by Bruce Wayne. However, Alfred puts it in one scene very 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 quite accurately, the fact that the sins of the fathers shouldn't be carried forward to their sons, and the sons shouldn't be judged for them or whatever. But I mean, despite all of that, this was not a Batman detective film that it was trying to be in the first part. In the first part, we see a lot of mystery, like Batman is trying to investigate, trying to figure things out, and to the very end, right, he never figured things out really, at least not to change any outcome. When he finally does figure things out, it doesn't matter anyway, because as I said, all the people supposed to die are dead. Everyone is supposed to get shot, have got shot. And finally, the reveal of who the Holiday Killer was, I felt was very underwhelming. Basically, the Holiday Killer was Harvey Dent's wife or girlfriend. And she, they never really show her in any particular scene to relate her directly that she's the one doing it, or Batman never really shows that he discovers, investigates to discover it is her specifically, but only at the part where Dent says that when the weapon is found in his house, Dent starts to laugh, and we start to think that, oh, Dent realizes that the Two-Face inside him could have been controlling him to do the attacks, or it's definitely not him, and it's someone else who has been in the house, which is his wife, and that kind of turns out to be the true story, and it's actually because his wife was apparently in a relationship with one of the crime lord's past sons and heirs, and then her grandchild had to be I mean her child had to be aborted because the crime lord didn't want a grandchild out of to be a bastard or whatever. And yeah, the story is really good, don't get me wrong. This is but it's not a Batman story. It's just straight up not a Batman story. It's nothing to do with Batman. Batman doesn't do anything to change the outcome. And I felt that even without Batman in this story, it would have been a great story. And I think Catwoman actually, changed the outcome of certain situations more so than Batman, because Catwoman was actually there to save Harvey Dent. And despite her saving Harvey Dent initially, the guy she was trying to save him from actually didn't want to kill Harvey Dent. And that guy knocks Catwoman out, knocks Harvey Dent out, and then finally, what do you call this? Harvey Dent wakes up to realize that that guy is dead and he has blood in his hands, and the holiday killer's gun is on the ground. So it all starts to look like there's some kind of split personality story going on, but then you realize that there is a holiday killer and it's not Dent, it's his wife. So a lot of the time the heroes in the story didn't do anything basically. Things still played out the way they're supposed to, and I feel that that's not the kind of story that I really don't know. I really don't know why they decided to write a story like this, but that's just how it turned out. And it's not a good Batman film. It's not a good detective film. The best part of this film was definitely Catwoman, because of her tights. And as for the rest of the crime story, I felt it was fantastic. But I wish we saw Batman actually being more so of a detective, or at least a better fighter, because we don't get to see either of that. And there is a little bit of Alfred, not really much in this story as much as the first one. But the ending is pretty sweet. He finally couples up with Catwoman, and they end up living together happily ever after, or so. And that sums up the story of The Long Halloween. I feel that the first one is definitely better, and overall, as a story, it is not one of the better Batman stories out there. There are, I think, even comics that are way better, but still, it was a decent attempt to make the story look good. Animation wise, I feel that the frames are capped just so that it makes it look more so like a cartoon. But I think they should just go 60 FPS and let it be, and it will look a lot more realistic, a lot more fun. And they need to seriously figure out the power levels of certain villains. Like, what are they trying to show? Are they trying to show that Catwoman alone can defeat Poison Ivy in a single hand, like just barehanded combat? Poison, she doesn't even show up with anything like a bug spray. I mean, like, plant killer spray or any acid or any poison or nothing. She just runs up to Poison Ivy and beats her, kicks her ass, and that's it. That's pretty much all that happens. And as for the villains who, also show up towards the end, like Grundy and all of them, they didn't really feel, like scary enough. They were just all fodder for the actual story, which is the crime story between, what do you call this, Maroni and Falcone. And yeah, that's just my take on it. If you guys haven't checked it out, I think I suggest you should actually watch this one. For me, the first one I rated it 5 out of 10. I'm going to rate this second one a 6 out of 10. Overall, you can take it as a 5 or a 6. It is totally up to you. I don't really do point fives, but it is what it is for me. I feel that they should have done a little more with. The Batman, either make him a better fighter or a better detective, but in this he does neither well. He's just sort of a side character in the story. And there may have been certain things I might have missed out that you guys picked up. Do let me know if there's anything else that's interesting. But overall, as a story, they really detailed out the backstories of the characters. They gave them weight and value. It's just that things didn't really, like Batman doesn't do anything to affect the story. And if you name a story Batman, it's because it's about him. It's about the title. That's what it should be about. And if it's not about the title, they should just call this The Long Halloween without the word Batman. That way we know that it's just a story where Batman is a part of it, and that's what this story really was. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.